This is my review. Recovery by Eminem. This is probably one of his best albums. You know, it's funny, I said that last year about Relapse. And to me, when you hear this album and when you hear Relapse, I mean, his wordplay was ridiculous. Lyrically, it's better than this album. But it didn't really have, it was more style over substance, you know. This has a hell of a lot more substance than Relapse. But Relapse was a good album. It was a very good album. But this, it just goes back to the Marshall Mathers LP, the Eminem show. I would say I put Marshall Mathers LP number 1, and then this or the Eminem show number 2. It's close. Very, very close. But this is a great album. I mean, it's got a lot of raw emotion. It has, obviously, you know, the shock value, but it also has a lot of personal stuff, which is more like the Marshall Mathers LP. I would say one of my favorite tracks, even the first track, Cold Wind Blows, that's one of my favorite tracks. Really raw, really explicit, really, you know, in your face. Good way to open up the whole album. So that's one of my favorite tracks. Really, I like every track on here. I mean, even the one with Lil Wayne, who I really don't like, but on Eminem's verse, he just like, he killed it, you know. So there's not any song that I really say, I gotta skip. So it's tough. I would say my favorite tracks, Cold Wind Blows, like I said, Cinderella Man is excellent, Seduction is really, really good, 25 to Life is amazing, Almost Famous, that's really brutal too. I mean, that's another in-your-face song about the shit that he talks about. So really lyrically, one of his best performances, you know, as far as putting words together, is no one better than Eminem. And you know, the substance matters about, you know, how, you know, he almost died, and you know, how that he was thought about taking shots at Lil Wayne. You know, in the song Talking to Myself, that's what he talks about, you know, because he was basically jealous of them, and he admits that. And how many artists are going to admit that? Not only that, he admits that Relapse was horrible, and that's in his trash, which I don't necessarily agree with. I think that was a great album in itself. But every album he does is pretty different. It's hard to compare one to another, you know, because he always changed it up so much. And on this album, he used so many different producers. You know, Boy Wonder, Just Blaze, Mr. Porter. Obviously, Dr. Dre did one track called So Bad, which is another great track as well. The hooks, I noticed he's singing a lot more, which is fine. You know, to be honest, I think he writes really catchy hooks. Even when he sings them, some people think it's annoying, but I think it's good, you know, that he does that. You know, at least that, you know, he doesn't let anyone else sing his hooks. For the most part, he sings pretty much everything, or whatever the case is. They're a little sing-songy, yeah, but even going back to his second album, Marshall Mathers LP, you know, he was a little sing-songy on some of his songs as well. So just more so now, I guess. He's definitely matured. And as far as the album is concerned, it sold over 750,000 already. So the first week, which sold more than Encore, Relapse sold 608,000. So when you have a great single like Not Afraid, which is, to me, is one of his best first singles. I think it was a really excellent idea by coming out with something serious, completely different. Because he said last year, when the song We Made You came out, he said he was never going to do that again. He was trying to recapture what he had with Just Lose It and Without Me, Real Slim Shady, you know, all those first singles, the poppy first singles, you know. But Not Afraid is up there with Lose Yourself. It's probably Lose Yourself, Not Afraid, as far as one of those type songs that get you going, you know. Just the hook, just the way he spits it, is just excellent, you know. So I think that's really what catapulted him to sell 750,000 plus records. And The Love the Way You Lie, excellent track with Rihanna. He collaborated with Pink as well. And the collaborations, I mean, unexpected, but they work. You know, I think they work, especially the Love the Way You Lie. Great hook, great story. You know, it's deep, it's chilling, but the way he put a twist on it was, you know, was awesome. And I think it's number 2 right now on the Billboard charts, right behind Katy Perry's California Girls. So, but they predict it to be number 1 probably within next week or so. Let's see what else. One thing I will say is, on the album, what he's done is, like, even Colby is on the album, sings the hook on Talking to Myself, which is interesting because you wouldn't think that he would do that. Usually he does all his own hooks, but for the most part he does. But for a couple of songs, he has this woman on let's say 25 to Life, I think she sings, Almost Famous, I think those two. I forgot her first name. I think Lisa Rodriguez, I think is her name is, and she sings the hooks on those two songs, and it's really good. Again, the beats are good. It's different. You know, he kind of reinvented himself again, but he definitely has the passion, and you feel. And I read these reviews saying that, Recovery, is a digression or whatever. I was like, those guys are morons. They're idiots. Because it's just like everyone's always going to hate Eminem one way or another. And he'll never get the props he ever deserves. I definitely agree with that because he's white or whatever the case is. But 37 years old, still selling 700,000 after being in the game for 10 years, 11 years. It's pretty amazing. So that's my review of Recovery. If you don't have it, get it. It's one of his best albums. Don't download it illegally. Please support, Eminem, and World of Decline with music still managed to sell 750,000. That's an accomplishment in itself. Please comment if you have any questions. If you agree with me, if you disagree with me, we'll talk about it. All right. So Recovery, get it. If I rate it out of a 10, I'd probably give it 9.2. Definitely a 9 to 9.2 up there. Not perfect, but pretty damn close. Thank you very much. Relapse. No. Kidding. Recovery. Recovery. Cop it. Cop it. Cop it.